Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and by now you've heard that President Trump in a tweet suggested perhaps delaying the elections in November, specifically citing basically a safe way to vote outside of all this mail-in voting everybody's been talking about. Now, immediately when I read this, I thought of one person, Pat Miletich, because Miletich and I had actually talked about what we thought were going to happen in the elections, and he said to me that he thought that Trump was going to declare a national lockdown and that the elections would not happen in November. Now, this is almost a self-fulfilling prophecy on those in left circles that have been saying that Trump is a dictator and he was going to do this. Now, number one, we don't know that this is going to happen, right? He's definitely pondered it now in public on his favorite forum. But in a nightmarish election cycle where Joey B behind me, the latest time that they bring him out, all right, where they bring him out, he can't even remember where he is as soon as he introduces himself. As soon as he introduces himself, he forgets where he is and acknowledges that. So there's so much bizarre stuff going on right now surrounding the election, surrounding COVID-1984 and the forever lockdowns that are going on. Remember, Bill Gates on a victory lap right now telling you you're going to be locked down till 2020 when you're going to have to take multiple shots that don't have to protect you from the virus. And that is not an exaggeration. That is exactly what he said on television, and that in 80% of the cases in the, I believe it was Moreno or Monera, I think it was Moreno studies, okay, after the second dose, and remember, you're going to get at least two, right? 80% became ill and had the same symptoms of this virus that the vast majority of us will never get. So why would I take the shot? And then, again, he's not guaranteeing you this makes you immune from the virus in any way, shape, or form. He says maybe it won't kill you if you do get it. Meanwhile, Herman Cain is probably the most high-profile person, at least in the Western Hemisphere, to die from COVID-19. Now, remember, the guy's had stage 4 colon cancer for some time. He was an older gentleman, but he was a businessman. He did have money to fight this thing, and apparently did not make it. You know, I'm sure there will be people out there that say that, you know, this isn't COVID related, even though he went in because he couldn't breathe. I think it proves once again that this is a very real thing we are dealing with. However, had maybe Herman Cain got on something like hydroxychloroquine or some of these steroid treatments early and been tested early, the outcome possibly would have been different. I don't know. We're going to go over all of it. I want to remind everybody that what we just discussed via YouTube standards is harmful content, apparently. Still waiting 2.5 months later after my appeal to find out why I'm so harmful. Still haven't gotten a response, but I'm fully demonetized on this channel. $5, $10, $15, big donors. You mean the world to me. This one runs for another couple days till we start one for August. And remember, it looks like I got to get out of this state. It's looking more and more like Iowa. Thumbs up, subscribe, share. Make sure to check out the documentary films. Also, support me on Rockfin with other great creators. I just want to point this out. We're going to scroll it down from a lot of the other COVID-1984 nonsense. Here, right here is, you know, what the death rates have looked like. Let me get my little fat head out of the picture just for a second. And there you go. They've all plummeted. You know, I'm sitting in Applebee's last night, which is closing early and has like draconian seating still with mask, LARPing, and the whole nine, right? And they're talking about baseball and basketball, and like it's on the TVs like right before they were about to close, okay? And somebody's like, I can't believe they're even going to have basketball in Florida. Look at all the cases. And I said, let me stop you here, buddy. How many professional athletes have been hospitalized? What? How many professional athletes, not just basketball players, not just baseball players, anybody, MMA fighters, tell me now, how many have been hospitalized, not tested positive, but had to go to the hospital because of this? It's zero. It's zero. So why do we care if they're holding it in Florida? Will it get grandma? I'm really sick of the grandma line. It's a ridiculous line. And again, if those people weren't surrounded by other sick people and elderly people that were already sick and instead treated somewhere else, we would have had nowhere near the deaths in nursing homes. So now we're in a situation where the establishment on the left and the globalists have picked this guy to be what? Their Democratic nominee. He is a selected guy. Now, once again, he doesn't know where he is. As soon as he takes the mask off, okay, Joe, okay, we got the mask on you. You're going to walk up there and you're going to do your thing, and you remember to read that teleprompter. You take that mask off. You got it, Joe? Yeah, boo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. As a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway.
Didn't know where we were. Anyway, let's get that full screen for y'all. Let's start it again. I mean, again, he looks confused. He doesn't know where he is. He literally doesn't know where he is. Figures it out along the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. As a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway.
And they've convinced people that that's the viable candidate. They've convinced people that, he's going to beat Donald Trump in a fair election. And I'm not a Trump guy. And there are so many people out there that are so seriously deranged at this very moment that they think everything this guy does is bad. Yeah, I've heard crickets out there when I go, show me something that was bad about him just making it readily available for people to get EpiPens, insulin, and other medications for a fraction of the cost. Huh? Bueller? Anybody? Just totally ignoring that issue. It's a historic moment. You got to give the guy credit where credit is due, but instead they're going to focus on this, where Trump's tweet, okay, here it is right here. This is the one with all the controversy. With universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good, I agree, 2020 will be the most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. I agree. It will be a great embarrassment to the USA. I agree. Delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. I disagree. No, we can't do that. We have to fight back and say you have to come in or you have to get a legit absentee ballot. One or the other. I'm done, again, I'm done LARPing. It's 500 plus people at Walmart the other day. I'm not in a unique situation, and neither are you. So no, that would be a terrible idea. You're playing right into these people's hands, but at the same time, why have you not fired this man who's now telling you to wear goggles for added protection? In fact, after I thought of Pat Miletich, and I was about to tweet at him, he actually called me, and he told me about this story. And I was like, yeah, I know they've talked about goggles before. Now they're actually suggesting it. When again, the death rates have plummeted. Cover your face, cover your eyes. Meanwhile, this has been out for over a week. It actually predated all those frontline doctors that got censored. And I'll say it again to people, okay? I don't care what that woman's religious beliefs are. I don't care what her personal beliefs are. Either she treated 350 people with hydroxychloroquine successfully or she didn't. That's all I care about. So if anybody has evidence that she is a liar about that, please tell me. Show me that evidence and I will post it everywhere. That is a promise. Meanwhile, you have this professor of epidemiology out of Yale. Take a look at him, okay? Doesn't look like a right-wing guy. And even if he was, I wouldn't care. But he wrote an extensive piece about over 300 peer-reviewed publications on hydroxychloroquine and how this will save lives if used correctly and properly and not waiting until these people are almost dead. Okay? Even if they are high-risk patients. Okay? He talks about the azithromycin as well, hydroxychloroquine, the zinc, the Z-Paks, that it's already out here. And this is Newsweek. This is a Yale epidemiologist. This wasn't frontline doctors or whatever you want to try to discredit. And again, it's so convenient, again, for this false left-right system to just discredit this woman out of the gates who's a woman of color and a woman of education to become a doctor, period. Again, if she's lying about those 350 patients, please show me the evidence, because everything else, I don't care. We all got wacky beliefs. Every one of us. I don't like to come down on people's religions. All right? I don't. That's certainly not a place for me. Either we have freedom of religion and freedom of speech, or we don't. And it's pretty damn apparent right now we do not. Okay? And it's almost as if people on the left are celebrating that Herman Cain has apparently died of COVID-1984. All right, and this People article, I mean, it's pretty heavy on, him not being able to breathe, etc. I'm not saying one way or the other whether he died from COVID or with COVID. Again, we know that he actually successfully battled stage 4 cancer and that it had returned. So that's where I'll leave it. But I'll tell you this. As much as I was never a huge fan of Herman Cain, I don't revel in someone's death. That's some sociopathic, psychopathic shit right there. Okay? Period. And, Herman Cain was a pretty establishment, right-wing guy. But at the same time, I felt like he was trying to do things in the confines of the structures he knew. Doesn't mean he was right all the time. Or the greatest of politicians out there. But he started as a businessman, and basically ran for president, and then he was appointed by the Trump administration. So, rest in peace, Herman Cain. I think it's messed up that people are making this into a political I told you so, but what did you expect? And let's hope that we don't get some kind of a crazy pushback on this election. Everything's so nuts right now. The other thing is, I don't know what to tell you. I know that I can report on what these people say, what they put out there. The Bill Gates stuff, probably some of the most alarming stuff out there, and people seem to be ignoring it. So I'd say start paying attention, and we need, forget about pushing back, we need to start shoving back. Guys, fully demonetized on this platform. You just heard some harmful content. $5, $10, $15 big donors. It means the world to me. It keeps me going. It's how we do this thing. Make sure you're thumbing the videos up and you're checking them out. Go check out It's Been Fake for a Long Time if you missed that one. Please go check that out. Because this whole, media lying thing, it's not a new phenomenon. It's been around for some time. If you just woke up to it in the last 5, even 10 years, you've been missing out on a lot. So that's a must watch. Remember, all my documentary films also in my documentaries playlist section right here, right now. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. And you can support me over on Rockfin, where we do some exclusives, including Tuesdays at noon for free. We got Sam Tripoli, Nico, House, Kim, Iverson, Jimmy, Dor, John, Fitch, Ben Askren, Graham Elwood, Ron Placone, The Convo Couch, and so many others on this platform. I'm really proud of this platform. And guys, I want to tell you right now, just because I'm talking about the election, just because there's a Democrat on one side and a Republican on the other, I want everybody to know I hate them all. Okay? I don't even like being forced to talk about it in these senses. But when it's so outward and so in your face, you've got to at least address it. So remember, overall, this isn't about right or left. Not even close. It's about right and wrong. It's about a predator class takeover of society for an automation nation where they're selling you on a false transhumanism. Love you guys. See you on the flip.